Hello guys, I'm Andrei. I'm a certified translator and a real estate concierge. I run a company here relocating people to Belarus over the last 3 years. And today's release is going to be more like a communication and feedback with you guys and reporting on some last recent successes, which there are several. There isn't a line of people lining up to move to Belarus, but there are people and they get me some work, let's say, some business. And as you know, my major is immigration and real estate, where we contract related specialists if needed and push through if only my translation skills are required. So let's see what happened lately. The videos weren't coming very frequently, you've noticed, and we've just released another issue with my legal partner, a legal consultancy, Rise Capital Group, about opening up a restaurant. Please watch it if you haven't yet. And in this video we are going to talk about just general relocation ways, some cultural patterns, and I will also provide a concrete example of a property we're buying this week. I'm acting on my client's power of attorney on my client's behalf. Unfortunately, his private status, his social status doesn't allow him to be in the frame, but this gentleman is from, let's say, a southern country, exotic country in a way, although there is a direct flight, so it's not that exotic. He speaks English, which is also very good. So let's cover all these things step by step and also answer your questions. I'm sorry that some of the questions get erased by YouTube, although I diligently clear the check of approval for the questions that have not been approved of automatically. And some of them just disappear. So sometimes I manage to make a screenshot before that happens because some of the messages are quite colorful. Some contain criticism. Very few contain something harsher than criticism, and those just get deleted. And let's digest these as well. I'm sure it's going to be an infotainment, entertainment, and educational release. And thank you very much for following the channel. Let's get started. Let's start with the cultural patterns, guys. Then we'll talk about the bad boy a little bit, just a little bit. And then we'll talk about the recent success case with the property. Based on the summer experience with the first success with an Indian guy buying a flat in Vitebsk, and hence there are clips about properties in Vitebsk on the channel, I would say that there are 3 success factors to any project like this. First one, it's a solid plan, then it's straightforward communication, and 3 is a solid budget. And all these things can have a lot of cultural wrinkles, mostly from the Indian side as I see it, because I'm a European, I'm a capitalist, I'm quite straightforward and reasonably honest. At least I don't see too many people saying that I'm not honest, and I'm open to any criticism. In the first line, communication has to be straightforward. So that's when I'm giving a number and I'm saying please use Botin Messenger. One really has to use Botin Messenger. And when I'm asking how much are you planning to invest, I know it's a somewhat private question, but then you are dealing with a dealer, with an operator that's going to help you on the ground. And when I'm asking that 3 times and somebody is telling me that they're planning to relocate wife and kids and start a new life and invest into some kind of a food kiosk, it's not really answering my question. And that's what they call straightforward communication. That's when we understand that we're not really a client and operator, we're just very strange people, and I'm not going to be helpful in that plan. So when somebody says, I am considering apartments, 1-room apartments, I don't have much to invest, but we're going to be reasonable, that's all narrowed down to like $30,000-$35,000. A few $1,000 may be added when there's a good option found. So the point is, the answers must be straight. The same strategy applies to messages and details that one is asking. When I'm asking for a passport copy, like the main passport copy with the names, dates, and everything, that literally means that. I don't need the copies of the residences and other visas and old passports. All I need when I'm asking for a passport is a passport. That's clearly straightforward and direct. As you know, guys, many of you are in your own business. You like to cooperate long term, and it's always great to be referring clients, to be referring your friends and other things. And all this is quite irrelevant when you're approaching somebody for the first time and you're trying to have business and you're talking consultancy. Let's say I'm offering my paid consultancy. I'm not offering free consultancies anymore. And the person is starting to say that they're very big investors, but they only want a $10,000 village house. They are very serious guys, but they do not really know how much money they wish to bring. and all this kind of stuff. And of course they would refer all the brothers and friends and everything in future. All this stuff doesn't work in this cultural environment, guys. It's me, your operator, or it's somebody else. It's not necessarily me. I'm not alone. And you can choose any operator that you like and that you see as serious and experienced operator on the ground, and communicate directly. As I mentioned, guys, I cannot dedicate enough time to any person, although I like friendly chats and I really love to communicate with new people. It's very often to the point, and it's very often business, so it has to be a paid consultancy. And a paid consultancy, we will probably introduce a service like or an option like a returned fee. If we go through paid consultancy, we have a successful project, I will return the consultancy fee, which is really minimal. And I mentioned it already, I would like to remind that the consultancy fee is a small charge that helps me understand how serious you are, and helps you to understand how straightforward I am and how much of my field experience fills in your notes, in your questions and answers from somebody else, to cross-check them and to verify the accuracy of the information, which is quite important. And this small fee, funnily enough, cuts out a lot of serious investors who do not really wish to dedicate a few dollars to my time, to my knowledge, and that's why it's quite essential to have my time concentrated on real people who pay that money. So all these factors and the previous experience, the previous record of an operator help to create trust, to create understanding of how things work. I really don't like the word trust because it's something very fragile and unwritten, and as experience shows with my good colleague who is now sitting in Latin America, enjoying his vitamin D versus our rather chilly October mornings. With that kind of an operator, with all his gold rings and serious business cards, it turns out to be a rather fragile commodity, fragile currency, unstable currency. It's best to go step by step and do the payments while the job is, as the job is being done. That's the best way to go. Speaking of criticism and speaking of some questions that get deleted by YouTube, I apologize for that, guys, it's not me. One of the best ones I've made a screenshot of, and we'll go step by step talking about this, and this gets us to that Indian drama story, Indian relocation fraud story that was covered quite handsomely, extensively last year in all the detail. And there is like a, let's say, stranger, complete strange guy who watched our videos on YouTube and is trying to make sense, like who is lying. Probably everybody is lying, but let's go question by question of his, and that will be the best way to see like my position and my standing. At least when somebody is asking me straightforward questions, I'm giving straightforward answers, and it's always working best when it's a broader audience and there are other people who may have a say in the comments. So many of you know, guys, that there is me and there is one of my competitors also doing video blogs. He's no longer based in Belarus. He ran away, the way I see it. Maybe I'm wrong. And he politely calls me bubbly something. So guys, as many of you following the channel may know, there is me and there is another operator who is also doing blogs about living in Belarus, and not just about Belarus. He's like a multi-country kind of relocation guy that I really wish to put to jail, but he's in Latin America now, and we both are video blogging about each other in a discreet way, because an official and direct way can get each of us to court. And none of us is wanting that, because the proof is very, very minimal in my case, and I guess in his case it's not non-existent, because I just don't do crimes. It's a very serious matter I'm dealing with, immigration and relocation, so that's something that I really don't even joke about. For this court reason, we actually prefer, starting with me, to call each other some funny names that kind of point a finger at the person but does not name them directly, and allows you guys to stretch your mind and think a little bit and do analysis, which is the first step you take when you invest money. It has come to my attention that your name has recently been referred to as Bunty. I have no idea what this means. With your agents and network being called Bubbly. Guys, I don't have a network, it's me and my car, actually 2 cars, and occasional driver or translator helping when I can't do it myself, but that's just me, I am the company. In relation to your immigration business, that's true, we're consulting people in immigration and relocation, best ways, wisest ways to go, and the cheapest options to take. So that's what we do, that's what I do, or we, including the contracted people who resolve real estate matters and related things which I'm not licensed for. I'm a certified translator, I do this officially. Essentially, my first nickname by my competitor was Ganju Baba, and they told me it means that the guy losing here. Yes, I'm getting bold, I'm getting old, that's a problem, and that's an existing issue, let's say, and I'm just okay with that. It's a given fact, and I have no issues with this. For convenience sake, I'll be calling my friend Bad Boy and his channel, that was called until recently Bad Boy's Lies, very fitting name, says that he warns in his video to be cautious of certain YouTubers who appear to be more interested in taking their money. Well, you have to be cautious of anybody who is going public and has some kind of unclear behavior, especially when there's too much luxury about it. Speaking of that, I resent brands. I really don't do any shiny sunglasses or shiny cars or something. My cars are 10 years old. I'm selling one of them, and that's just about who I am. Bad Boy specifically mentioned that you charge $1,500 for consultations. That's not true. It's 100 times less approximately. And 100 for your video calls consultancy. That's almost true. That depends on the case. But report to the embassy that you only received blah, 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 blah. It's not quite true because the amount received is declared to the embassy because it's a service contract, and service contract makes the ground of visa support documentation. That's invitation letter and service contract that says that you're not just a tourist coming over here to look at the Polish border, but I'm going to be in charge of your moves here and responsible for those moves, including prison, criminal responsibility, and that's one of the vital things that starts our project. Our project is normally shaped into a package, and sometimes, like my previous guy versus the current guy who just gave me a power of attorney to buy a flat for him. The previous guy actually only settled on the original package, the consultancy and the apartment views. So we went about 1/3 of the way, and this is what went to the bank, and this is what went into the contract. And that's how it works, because sometimes guys just don't do 100%, and that's natural. Sometimes they change their plans, sometimes they get ill and they never travel. So if I were to charge the full, like $1,500, for example, how would I refund it? It would go through my bookkeeping, it would go through my contracts, and it would go through the bank, and there's no way I can wire back, so that's not really convenient. In your videos, you frequently criticize and target Indians. I would say you probably didn't watch my last videos about the relocation drama, because I'm standing with a good Indian guy, which is my friend. His name is Kavaljit. He was frauded by his fellow Indian and another Pakistani guy and 2 more Indian guys. And the only thing I was criticizing is non-involvement of other Indians who actually live here or who were also frauded and who know about this thing happening and who never did a thing to help me. I had a couple of meetings when people kind of spilled their story, but when it came to the police station, they were all pissing about Bad Boy's almighty status and powers, and they just said, oh, we're busy to go to the police, we can't do it. Well, he was packing his fancy cars, selling them off, selling his stuff and running away to Latin America. I was looking for help from you guys, and you never helped. But it would be ridiculous to go online and say that I'm against a certain nation or something, because any nation has idiots. And your next question here, he mentioned that you, along with your network, I don't have a network for God's sake, are deceiving Indians. Never been the case, but I know a few cases of the Bad Boy. And clients from other countries like Germany. Actually, a German guy scammed me. I helped him on an express basis, let's say. I put some of my money to pay for his visa. I'm not doing that again. And he never paid off. He just cheerfully left the country on the exit visa that I facilitated. That was it, the end of the story. So there are no good nations. There are idiots in any nation, including my fellow Belarusians. And I myself, may I repeat, was scammed by my own builders. He was a son of a distinguished artist of Belarus by $40,000. That's just a great lesson in constructions in the first line, and then in legal matters, court matters, and I appreciate the destiny for that. I've recovered the debts since then. The Bad Boy also highlighted your temper and lack of self-control when dealing with clients. That's not necessarily true, because some of the clients are not even my clients, and when people are making 3 calls and you're in the meeting, you're just canceling them off on the phone, and they continue calling and write you through 2 or 3 different messengers. That's not really in our culture here. And when somebody demands to have a control without first asking politely, are you busy? Can you talk right now? That's almost never happening with the guys messaging from the south. Then I am becoming a little bit, let's say, aggressive because it's my private sphere, my private time. When it's Saturday night over here and somebody is calling like they have morning and nice time and nice mood and they wish to do business, and on Saturday evening I don't always wish to do business, it may sometimes be the case. Most of the tensions, however, occur when there is no solid communication and when somebody, and a solid plan, when somebody is changing the plan. As you remember in the movie, it was never change the deal. So when somebody, we are working on a project, let's say we're looking for a one-room apartment in a city, and there is an arrangement and there is an agreed budget for that, and somebody then says that, oh, I have this one ideal link from a different city, 300 kilometers away, can we look at it? No, we cannot look at it because we have a plan, we have an approved strategy, and we're looking for the best properties in a specifically chosen area, and then I have to explain all these things to the guy who wishes to get the best out of his money, which is generally natural, which is okay, but again, within the approved plan and within the approved strategy. Generally, I look very much like I am on the screen. Sometimes, depending on the situation, it can go, like, say, lighter or harder, but I don't think I ever had like very really bad situations, unless we recall those situations with the German guy who scammed me. And there was one French guy who just never replied when it was our turn to get into the office and file his TRP. He then said that he was sick at night and he never made it in time, like 2 hours later. And he showed up without any appreciation of me having been there since 6 o'clock. He was there at 10 o'clock. Then I actually talked to him the way I would, talk to a son that does not understand what happens and what kind of thing he made. According to the bad boy, if a client questions you or disagrees, you reject them and post negative videos about them. I would like to see a single negative video about the clients that I rejected or that when the guy got cancelled. The bad boy said that I present myself as a helpful consultant, but in reality I charge high fees. I do, and exploit Indian clients. I'm not sure what this means, but probably the bad boy should tell people what he does and how he communicates with the people who got their crappy houses, who got their cancellations and visa bans to Belarus, and how he communicates with them. That would be a really great thing to hear. As for exploiting Indian clients, I would only refer to one of the recent cases when my client, my would-be client, got his visa application cancelled in one of the cities in the south, in India, basically. And cancellations out there now frequently, rejections are now frequent out there. It's not really working very well. But I refunded the whole amount of money I charged from this guy, and since we never had the project, I believed it was not fair for me to have the package prepayment. So I'm not sure about what kind of exploitation of Indian clients he's talking about, especially given that I'm very much trying to help guys who are in trouble and who approach me honestly, directly, and who are being straightforward without all this, hey, we're busy to go to the police kind of thing. So guys, be serious, be straightforward, and this will be returned upon to you. Bad boy suggested that your struggle to make money has led you to find this method of blaming other YouTubers like him. Actually, I am not blaming other YouTubers. I'm openly saying that the bad boy is a scammer and that he is not responsible for what he does, and that his network of agents that he does have and the questions that we asked to him directly were never answered. We were never approached by him or his agents for any apology or any damage compensation, and this is the policy that we will continue with until he realizes that taking money away from people, not charging them for the service, is not good, is not fair, and it's not how the things must be done, at least not in Belarus. I'm in this country, no matter how patriotic this may sound, but I'm in this country, and after having been conned myself by a fellow Belarusian, I'm very allergic to such cases, and even if it's free of charge, even if a client is like, oh, okay, $100,000, remember what happened to the Bad Boys Lounge. The damage will be compensated in this way or the other. You may view that as a universal balance of some kind, karma balance if you wish, but this is not something I'm going to tolerate. We would like to clarify who we should trust regarding these services, bad boy or you. Guys, it's really up to you. Again, I don't want to use the word trust. I want you to firstly analyze the cases, the content of each channel and of each operator, see what they're offering, see where they are based, And again, it's very odd to be based in Latin America and to promote Belarus and sell some products and have some kind of a team working in Belarus. And it's also very odd, like we covered in one of the first videos, to have your ground people that are not even your official employees to go to the police station, and the girl says, oh, I didn't really have any business with these guys, I just invited them to Belarus so that Kavaljeet and his wife could have a private visa. And her boyfriend says, oh, I really didn't mean any bad things. We told these guys they must invest into the houses before they become real properties. Houses having been paid $10,000 each have to be invested. And they were chosen for Kavaljeet on a power of attorney. He trusted these people, he trusted this channel, this operator, and the whole thing wasn't really good. 12 months TRP was crossed in the police station and replaced with 3 months. He left on the 3rd of October 22. I have the full power of attorney to represent his interests, so if we ever get any progress on this deal, we will cover it on YouTube. And that's just the way it is. His constructions guy would come up and say, well, I really wanted the best thing, but they were never approaching me for constructions, renovations, assignments, so these houses were never improved. And he himself would come to the police office, and he did come to the police office with all the shiny business cards, which are quite meaningless at a closer look, and say, well, I was never actually paid for these houses. Those crypto transfers never happened. The Telegram history was erased. So that's just a perfect way to go. And he would say, I was never paid for the houses. And his ground guys would confirm, yeah, we were paid in cash out of his pocket, and we never got any money for these houses. So whether or not you wish to deal with operators like that, or with me, where I am consulting you online, where my company is fixing you visa support papers, where I'm dragging you all across the country to get your dream property to fit your ideal plan, and that's not going to be a village house for the Indian passport holders, guys, it's up to you. I'm here, I'm all yours, I'm official, and if you're in town, if you're in town in person, that's just the perfect start. We can go to the office, sign a contract, get things on the paper, and get everything processed just best transparent and serious way and fair way as you suggest. Last but not least, the question about my kind of military looks. Guys, there's no dress code in my profession. Officially, I'm a translator, but I am visiting all sorts of departments and agencies between real estate field and police field. And it's not because of my early dream to join the army or the secret service. It's not because of my hobby, which includes hunting and shooting. It's just because when you're at 6 o'clock and you're by the migration office and it's plus 10 outside, you're lining up with the same minded guys who want to apply earlier because it's the best way to go. Otherwise, you'd be inside there all day. That's what you were. If you are looking at the houses, province houses or apartments, if you are moving around fast, white shirt, cool suit is not what you wear. And eventually, more important than these two factors, that's practical. That's how I feel, that's how I like to be dressed. And last but not least point is more philosophical or psychological, let's say. I'm also mixing up with the migration offices, their police department, and a certain kind of outfit about like this really helps the communication with guys like that. I can't clarify in which exactly way, but it works, it helps. And don't forget, I'm here, I'm doing all these operations on your behalf. Whether or not I'm helping you to go through the technical examination with your car, I'm actually driving the client's car through the line. Whether or not I'm in charge of the demolition of your house, whether or not I'm looking for your dream property, scouting them like 10 properties a day. It's hard, it requires certain effort, and white shirt and suit is not the kind of stuff you will be wearing for that. This is the most practical choice. I hope that this has exhausted some of the questions that were boiling there in the audience. I'm really grateful that you're following my channel. And to conclude this story, here is the property we're thinking to buy for my current Indian client in town. We are placing a deposit soon. We are having a deal within a month, and all these things step by step will be covered, and I'll be happy to share his phone with you guys for any clarifications about how the process worked out. This was Andrei from Minsk, Central, sunny today, October, chilly. And thank you very much for following, supporting, liking, disliking, commenting, asking. Contacts are down below. Hope to see you in Minsk someday. Cheers.